by Andra Wiesian, Precinct 2 Commissioner, and the Kendall County Republican Woman President.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Would you please bow your heads? Heavenly Father, we praise you for your goodness and generosity. We trust you for faithfully preserving us through good times and bad. We serve you with all that we have. We glorify you in our plans and activities. We speak of you to others in response to your great love for us. We live for you in every thought, word, and deed by the power of your Spirit. You are the God of endurance and encouragement. Help us as conservative servants to live in harmony with each other, working for faith, family, and freedom, and knowing that together we may with one voice glorify our Savior and Redeemer. We pray in your name.
Amen. And now call on former Kendall County Republican Chair Scott Kramer for the pledges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and please rise as you're able. Let us pay respect to the United States of America and those great veterans who served. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Mr. Chairman, please rise as you're able. Let us pay respect to the United States of America and those great veterans who served. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the Texas Pledge, the greatest state of them all. Honor
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
And real quick, we have a great turnout of elected officials here back there. So I just would like to recognize them, so please bear with me. We have County Commissioner, Precinct 4, Chad Carpenter. Please just, who you are. Thanks, Chad. County Commissioner, Precinct 2, Andra Wiesian. County Commissioner, Precinct 3, Richard Chapman. County Commissioner, Precinct 1, Christina Bergman. Sheriff Al Oxshire. House Representative for HD 19, Ellen Troxclair. Catherine McDaniel, Assistant DA. Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3. Please stand up. Sorry, I forgot to write that. School Board Trustees, Rich Senna and Christy Smith. And our State Republican Executive Committee SD 25 members, Chris Bird and Naomi Months. Who else? Who am I missing? Please stand up. Oh, Cheryl Disdain. Sorry, Cheryl. Excuse me. Thank you. Greg Maxson, Mayor of Vero Trail. Anyone else is missed? If so, I apologize. Yeah, the boss. So, as I said, my name is Mike Wheeler. I'm the chair of the Kendall County Republican Party, and I really just want to take this opportunity to thank the Kendall County Republican Women, the Kendall County Republican Club, and the Kendall County Republican Party for joining forces to host this forum. I really want to thank Bernie High School for this amazing opportunity to have here. If you are looking to get involved locally, please make your voice heard. Check out the KCRW or the KCRC and join up. You can join up out front. There are great ways to get started and get involved in the cause. I would also like to thank all the candidates for being here. It takes a lot of courage and love for community to put yourself on a ballot and serve, and I would like to recognize that. Please do not forget that all the candidates here tonight are fellow Republicans. And lastly, and most importantly, I would like to thank you, the voters, for coming. The major purpose of the Kendall County Republican Party is to grow the base and to get as many strong Republicans elected as possible. We could do not do that without your participation. You have the final say, and the only goal of this forum is to help provide you with some of the necessary tools to make your decision. I have heard some in Kendall County say, we'll always be red. We are different than the other counties in Texas that have been flipped. I am willing to take that chance. I'm not willing to take that chance. How about you? How about you? Thank you. The questions were put together by representatives of the KCRW, the KCRC, and the KCRP. We have received a lot of input from the voters, and we have tried to incorporate them as best we can. There are undoubtedly some questions you want answered, but we won't get to. I'm hoping that the candidates will be around a little bit afterwards to answer any kind of specifics you may have. So with that being said, let's get started. So first, what we'll be hearing from the unopposed candidate, local candidates. And what I'll do is I'll call each one up by name. If you could all come up, get in the line that I announced, and they'll brief speech for about maximum of 2 minutes. First up, Richard Chapman, Commissioner Precinct 3. Sheriff Al, Constables Precinct 1, Todd Setliff. Precinct 2, Paul Knoll. Precinct 3, Gene Serene. And Precinct 4, Brian Vaughn.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for all coming. My name is Richard Chapman, and I'm the County Commissioner for Precinct 3. Since I'm running unopposed, tonight I chose not to do a political speech, but to talk about something that is dear to everybody here, and that's water. This past summer, people were greatly affected by the drought that we are still in today. We formed a small coalition of people to strengthen the development rules that will protect our groundwater resources. We studied the available laws and used them to amend our rules. Finally, after weeks of planning, we presented to Commissioner's Court, and it passed unanimously what we believe will give us long-lasting rules that will protect our groundwater. These rules increased our minimum average lot size from 6 to 10 acres, and by law requires the proof of groundwater availability. While these rules do not stop growth, they do promote a healthy growth rate in the areas of the county where we depend on our aquifer. The changes will help protect the future water supplies for generations that come beyond us. The next component was to come up with a rainwater catchment plan that would benefit not only the landowner, but also reduce the impact on our aquifer. This portion is in its beginning and is currently being written and developed, but is not ready for approval at this time. While both topics will help manage groundwater, our best efforts cannot succeed without conservation. I ask each and every one of you to go home tonight, look at your homes, look at your businesses, and come up and develop some water-saving techniques. I thank y'all for coming out tonight and getting involved. I'd like to thank the Republican Party for putting this on. And again, my name is Richard Chapman, Commissioner of Precinct 3, and I would appreciate your vote, even though I am unopposed. Thank y'all.
Good evening. I'm Al Oxer, your sheriff, Kendall County. Thank you for the opportunity to speak quickly. It is with deep gratitude that I stand before you tonight as your Kendall County Sheriff. As I reflect on the journey that has brought me here, I'm filled with overwhelming appreciation for the trust and support you have given upon me. Once again, I'm truly honored to not have drawn an opponent in the upcoming election. It's a testament to the confidence you have in me and the dedication I have poured into serving this community. Your unwavering support is both humbling and inspiring, and I am committed to continue to earn your trust each and every day. As your sheriff, I have always believed in the power of collaboration, communication, and community engagement. My door is always open to discuss issues you have with our community, and together with the entire staff of the Sheriff's Office and you, we have achieved remarkable progress in ensuring the safety and well-being of our residents. One of our greatest accomplishments, and I'm very proud of, is our accreditation and recognition through the Texas Chiefs of Police Association. As of today, Kendall County is still the first and only sheriff's office in the state of Texas to receive such accreditation through the association. Another proud accomplishment has been our community's focus on mental health initiatives. Recognizing the importance of addressing mental health within our community, we have worked tirelessly to come up with and find resources and support those in need. By breaking down the barriers and fostering understanding, we have made significant strides in promoting mental wellness for all. Even today, we have met with what we call the steering committee of the Kendall County Behavioral Health Advisory Coalition, which is comprised of what I believe is all of the major executive decision makers and leaders within the community. I'm excited about what the prospects of this committee is going to be doing. Furthermore, I am deeply committed to the welfare of my deputies. They are the backbone of our law enforcement efforts, and their safety and well-being is paramount. Through innovative programs and initiatives, we're continuing to prioritize support and give support and resources that they need to thrive in their individual roles. As I look back on my time as Kendall County Sheriff, I'm filled with a profound sense of pride for all that we have accomplished. But none of this would have been possible without the unwavering support of each of you. So tonight, I again want to express my deepest gratitude to the constituents of Kendall County. Your support, your trust, and your belief in me have fueled my passion to serve in this community. And together, let us continue to work hand in hand, building a safer, stronger, and more vibrant future for all. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Constable Sedliff. I've been the constable for Precinct 1 for a little over 3 years now, and it truly has been an honor to serve the citizens of Kendall County. A little bit about me. I began my career in 1990 with the Texas Department of Public Safety. I was a state trooper assigned to the Highway Patrol Service, and in 1996, I transferred here to Kendall County. And it wasn't very long before I decided I wanted to make this my home. And it worked out that way because I retired here in 2018. I went to work for the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Al Oxer, for a couple of years. And it was during that time I decided to run for a constable's office. And I knew that there was going to be a pretty big learning curve because I knew little about the civil side of the law. But fortunately for me, these other constables behind me, they helped me out quite a bit in those first few weeks, first few months. And they kind of got me up and running, so to speak. I called some of them 2 or 3, 4 times a day, and thank goodness for their patience. But anyways, I'm very thankful for them, for their help. Since I've been in office, I get asked a lot, what does a constable do? And I'll try to briefly explain that. We are officers of the court. When court's in session, we're responsible for bailiff duties. When court's not in session, we perform a variety of law enforcement duties, but we're primarily responsible for the civil process that comes out of the courts. Everything from the justice of the peace to, sorry about that, to the district court level. And occasionally we get papers from the Attorney General's office dealing with child support issues, things like that. We serve citations, subpoenas, served different kinds. There's all kinds of different civil process that comes out of the court, protective orders, things like that. And occasionally we get these writs where we have to take possession of property. And real quick story, it was kind of, I guess it's the strangest one I had to deal with, is I had to take possession of a dog and return it to its lawful owner. So that was a little bit different than what we usually do. But I guess what I do most of, and it seems to have been kind of increasing the last couple of years, is evictions. And so we deal with that a lot. And most of the time, those things are resolved peacefully. Every now and then, you get one that has a mental issue or violent tendencies or something like that. But then again, I can always call on these guys behind me or the sheriff's office or Bernie PD, and they help me out and get those things resolved peacefully. And I'm proud of that. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank y'all for coming out, and I appreciate your support and appreciate y'all taking an interest in your community. Thank you.
If you guys could speak directly into the microphone, no one in the back section can hear you. Swallow. Soon you speak, Dale. I know they don't have my voice, but they can try.
Is that any better?
That's good. No, I can't hear you. You gotta swallow it.
Is that any better?
There you go. You got to speak right into it.
Okay. My name is Paul Knoll. I've been honored to be the constable for Precinct 2. And I've always been very community oriented in that a lot of the citizens in Precinct 2 and in the county have come to me and said they had an issue, traffic or whatever it happened to be. I do everything I can to help that person, and if I can't do it, I can certainly push them in the right direction. So if any of you have any issues, my door is always open. So thank you for coming tonight.
Good evening. I'm Constable James Serene. I was very fortunate in 2014 to have been able to be selected by the Republican Party to be put on the ballot to hopefully be elected to fulfill the unexpired term of Forest Meadows, the previous constable. And so that was my first, I guess, introduction into Kendall County, even though I had lived here since 2006. When I came into this particular position, I had come from San Antonio, Bexar County, where I served for 35 plus years in 2 different constables' offices. So it was a kind of an adjustment for me to go from offices where we had 35 or 40 officers to a one-man department. So you kind of learn how to do everything, where before we kind of specialized with a traffic division or a writs division. So it was kind of like, okay, I have to learn everything over again, but it's been a great experience for me. I'm very, very blessed in the aspect of serving in this county, these people that live here. I always tell everybody that Kendall County is the best county in the state of Texas to live in. Okay? You can't find a better place than this county. Wonderful people, wonderful, I call it infrastructure. You have great law enforcement. You've got great EMS, you've got great fire, you've got great county government. So it's been just fantastic for me, and I'm looking forward to giving the county and Precinct 3 another 4 years of my life. Thank you.
I don't think you're going to have any problems hearing me. My name is Brian Vaughn, and I am the constable for Precinct 4 here in Kendall County. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And I came to this county with a lot of experience. I have 38 years of law enforcement experience, 30 of which came with the Texas Department of Public Safety. And during that time with DPS, not only was I a traffic officer, but I also was an intel gatherer, a criminal investigator. I spent a short time with Governor George W. Bush when he was running for president, and I followed him around for about a year. I was a polygraph examiner, retired as a lieutenant with the DPS and our Internal Affairs Division. When I got this job back in 2000, not only should I be a law enforcement officer, which is what I think I knew what I was doing, but I needed also to be deeply involved with the community. And so right away, I was already deeply involved with the community because I've been the worship leader at the Comfort Baptist Church for the last 24 years. And I'm still I'm still there, obviously. And I'm also on the council. I'm the chairman of the council there. But one of the new things that I started as a constable was I continued a Robbie's Bear program where Robbie, the constable before me, Robbie Pankratz, he would collect bears and hand them out to the kids. I continued that for Christmas time every year. And then I started a backpack program where I would collect backpacks, fill them full of school supplies and hand them out to the kids. I volunteer my office every time a nonprofit organization needs security, whether that be the volunteer fire department, the Chamber of Commerce or somebody like that. I make sure that those people are taken care of. I count it, as the other constables here, a privilege to be here in this county. And I'll finish by saying this. God bless you. God bless Texas. God bless the United States. And let's keep it red.
Thank you all. Okay, we're going to move on to candidates for the Fourth Court of Appeals. Place 3, Todd McCrae. Place 4, Lori Massey Brissett. And place 5, Adrian Spears fell ill today, so he's not able to attend. But I'm so happy that you all were able to come tonight. I can't emphasize enough how important these judges are to us. We need to vote the whole ballot. If we are to keep George Soros' money machine from having its influence on Texas, we have to get conservative judges elected. And I think they'll probably give you a little bit of idea how difficult that's been for us. So each will have about 2 minutes.
It's good to be here. Can you all hear me? So what did the cowboy say at his second rodeo? Cowboy at his second rodeo said, "This ain't my first rodeo." I'm Todd McCrae for Justice, Fourth Court of Appeals, Place 3. The Fourth Court of Appeals is a 32-county district that hears appeals from the trial courts within the district. The southern tip is down in Stark County. The northern tip is Menard and Mason County. There's 7 counties on the border. I have 34 years of significant trial and appeal experience in the courts here in Texas. I have over 100 jury trials and over 50 appeals. I wrote my first appeal when I was serving in the Grayson County Attorney's Office in 1991. I tried my first murder case as a lead prosecutor in 1992. I tried my first capital murder death penalty case in 1996 and was board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization in 1997. I also served in the Bexar County District Attorney's Office. Look, folks, I was on the ballot in Bexar County in 2018 for a district court judge, along with 40 other judicial candidates. We all lost in Bexar County. I was also on the ballot in 22 for this particular office, the Fourth Court of Appeals, Place 6, along with 30 other judicial candidates in Bexar County. We all lost. I came back to this particular race in 24. I will be running for Place 3 in 24. Rural county votes, your votes really matter because it gets us over the Democrat vote in Bexar County. So your votes all matter, very important. Have been endorsed by the San Antonio Police Officers Association, but most importantly, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. My mother said to tell you I'm a fifth generation member of the Church of Christ with 7 preachers on her side of the family. I became a lawyer instead. My dad said to tell you I'm a 4th generation Texan, and my scoutmaster said to tell you I'm an Eagle Scout. So if you want a constitutional conservative judge who understands that the Constitution is based on the original intent of the founders, Please vote for me, Todd McRae for Justice, 4th Court of Appeals, Place 3. God bless you all.
Good evening. My name is Lori Massey-Brissett. I apologize for my voice. I have laryngitis. I'm not running fever, I promise. But I'm running for the 4th Court of Appeals, and I want to say a little bit about myself and a little bit about the court. So I've been a licensed attorney for 30 years. I started out as the briefing attorney for the Texas Supreme Court. I've been for over 10 years as a litigator and a board-certified appellate specialist before I was appointed by Governor Rick Perry to serve as a district judge in Bexar County. I was elected by the people of Bexar County twice, ended up having to voluntarily step off the bench after my first husband died and left me as the primary breadwinner for my kids, and public service just didn't meet the needs of my family anymore. Thankfully, they're adults. They're off the payroll. I'm a grandma. It's a great time for me to get back to the court. But why now? It's because we need a stronger conservative voice in the Court of Appeals. Right now, that court has 32 counties, civil, criminal, and family law jurisdiction, and it includes all along the Texas-Mexico border, which is increasingly important. I think you'd agree. Right now, we have 1 Republican and 6 Democrats on that court. What that means is what I see as a mediator, an arbitrator, and a private judge, I see cases settling for 10 times the amount they would have been valued at 10 years ago. That's judgment inflation. And that is because even defense attorneys and the companies that find themselves there know that they're in a liberal courthouse when they're in Bexar County. As a result, business prices go up. That means consumer prices go up, or businesses don't want to do business in Texas. That's the problem. In the criminal case, we have a situation where we have a DA in Bexar County that is not prosecuting violent offenders, and we have a court that's rendered several opinions that make it clear they are not tough on crime either. And with the border issues all along the border coming to the 4th Court of Appeals, it's extremely important that we have a strong conservative voice. As Todd said, it takes rural counties to overcome the Democratic win in Bexar County. And it's not going to help if we just have people vote that come to Republican events. My ask of you is not just for your vote in November, but that you convince everyone you know, even the people who don't go to Republican events, how important it is that we have a conservative voice on the Court of Appeals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that they're not running against each other. Place 3 is Todd McRae. Place 4 is Lori Massey. You probably all understood that, but I just want to make sure, because I was confused about that when I first got involved. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on. I'd like to introduce our moderator. His name is Ernie Piles. He's a retired 22-year Air Force vet. He is also the Vice President of Programs for the Kendall County Republican Club. And here you go, Ernie. Thank you. Wait one second, sorry, I forgot one thing, sorry about that. And the next group for the forum is candidate for County Commissioner Precinct 1, Jennifer McCall and Christina Berger.
Microphone should be on.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thanks for being part of this event. First of all, just to kind of do a little stage setting, we're all volunteers here. We're not paid staff in the Kendall County GOP. Also, we receive no funding from the state or the national party. The GOP is pledged to run a fair, unbiased, and primary election with no favor to any candidate, and tonight's event will reflect that pledge. March 5th of this year is a primary election day when the GOP chooses candidates for the November general election. Our GOP candidates are not chosen by party officials or big donors or public officials. No, they're chosen by voters, the grassroots, rank and file Republican voters. Our nominees from the March primary will go on the ballot in November to defeat the Democrats and keep Kendall County red. Candidate forums. So the purpose of those really are to inform voters. We hope tonight's events help you make an informed decision. after a vigorous, dynamic campaign, it'll be up to you here tonight and many thousands of other Kendall County voters to decide who will serve us in the coming years. You have the final word. Noting tonight, time is precious, and I ask the candidates to please focus on the issues. Candidates should concentrate on making the case why they should be elected. This is what our voters want to hear. No personal attacks or commentary, no mudslinging, and that doesn't play well in Kendall County. Let's all do our part here in the audience to keep a level of decorum during this event with no distractions to the program. It's not a campaign rally, and we want to allow everyone the opportunity to hear the candidates speak and answer my questions. All candidates deserve a fair hearing. About the forum tonight, we will allow each of the candidates opening statements. They will have 2 minutes to conclude those, and with those opening statements, we would like to hear their qualifications and experience for the office they would like to pursue. The Q&A part of this, I will be asking a list of questions. No one has seen the final questions list in advance, including the candidates. The format, a question will be posed to candidate A, and they'll have 2 minutes to respond. And then candidate B will have 2 minutes to respond. In the event that candidate B mentions candidate A's policy, name, anything like that, I will offer candidate A, the opportunity for a 1 minute rebuttal. Then the next time we'll switch. For the second question, then candidate B will have an opportunity to answer that question first, and we'll follow that same format. Okay? We'll go through as many questions as time will allow. And then once all the questions are complete, we'll provide an opportunity for some closing statements. Once again, each candidate will have an opportunity for 2 minutes for their closing remarks. Okay, so for our first candidate forum here, this is going to be for County Commissioner Precinct 1, and our 2 candidates are sitting here before you. I will refer to them as Ms. McCall and Ms. Bergman. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with opening remarks, and we're going to offer Ms. McCall 2 minutes to provide opening remarks. Ms. McCall?
Good evening. I appreciate all of you for coming to learn more about the candidates and be involved in the process so that when you make your vote, it's an informed decision. My name is Jennifer McCall. I'm running for County Commissioner for Precinct 1. I am a Christian. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. We have 4 beautiful grandchildren. 3 of whom live here in Kendall County. And actually, my husband and I we've been here 30 years, over 30 years. And my husband actually graduated from high school here at Bergman School. I have had a professional background of banking, real estate management, helped my husband with his business, and most recently have been in healthcare management position. I love Kendall County, and I have so enjoyed being door to door, talking to the constituents to learn more about what their needs are and what concerns them. And I want to represent you at the county level. And that's, I want to take the experience I have, the background of problem solving and managing different types of businesses and different types of applications, and be able to address the issues of our citizens here in Kendall County. And I think that not only do the citizens have problems or concerns, but I think a lot of them have solutions. And so I think communication is a huge part of representing the constituents at the county level. And I've already started to do that as I've been walking and talking and communicating with you. Some of you have emailed me, some of you have called me, and I've been able to get back to you with answers. I appreciate that practice because that's what I like to do. So I ask for your consideration I'm a taxpayer like you are, and I want to represent you at the county level.
Ms. Bergman, if you could open your remarks, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I thank the Kendall County Republican organizations for hosting this evening. Mostly, I know everyone's very busy, so it means a lot that you've taken time out of your busy evenings to come out here and get informed of what is going and who is going to be on your ballot in the upcoming election. As your county commissioner, I have repeatedly voted to lower taxes. I have supported our law enforcement. I have supported our EMS and our first responders. I'm a lifelong Kendall County resident, 5th generation. I married my husband Michael with 2 children that attend Kendall Elementary. At the age of 16, I started serving my community, and I have not stopped. At 16, I became a member of the Bernie Volunteer Fire Department, following in my father, my uncle, and my grandfather's footsteps. I'm still a member to this day. I've also served on the Bernie Historical Commission to help preserve our downtown Main Street and keep it as unique as possible so that we have this unique place to live. I served on Bernie City Council as 2 terms, and then I became your county commissioner. I also serve on many organizations and boards within the community. I serve on the chamber as an advisory board member, the 100 Club for Kendall County, supporting our first responders. I'm on the board of the Civil Reserve, which is over a 650-acre reserve right here in the heart of Bernie to preserve that area for future generations for research. I'm also on the Kendall County Republican Women Club, Kendall County Club, and I attend as many events in this community as I can. I make myself available to the community. I support our community any way that I can. I'm asking for your support so that I can continue serving this community, so I can make it a better place and leave it a better place for not just my children, but all of your children and the future generations of Kendall County. So I greatly appreciate you being here and for your time this evening. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and press on with the questions. So Ms. McCall, you will have the opportunity to answer the first question. Our first question tonight is, what is the most pressing problem in Kendall County, and how would you address it?
I appreciate that question. And I think that more importantly than what my opinion is, it's the opinion of the people I've spoken with. And you, the constituents, as I've spoken to you, have talked to me about mobility, development, and our natural resources. And I think they're interrelated. So I know I'm going to address mobility. And we have had, in the last 20 years, we've had 2 plans that TxDOT has presented to Kendall County that have both been rejected. And from those rejections, we've had 2 plans that citizens have been part of to help come up with solutions to the traffic issues. I have both of them with me. They're filled with numerous ideas. The most recent was the County of Crossroads. Before that, there were 2 reports full of ideas again by citizens to address mobility here in the county. With one road in 20 years, we need a plan, and we have them here. And so to address those, I think we need citizen involvement. Again, I think that's key in everything that happens through the commissioner and commissioner's court to address the solutions that we need to attack first and identify where those areas are that we need to address. But again, I think all of those areas are interrelated, and I chose to address the mobility issue first. But again, I think the most important thing is what's important to you, the voter, and that's what I want to take you to Commissioner's Court and represent you.
Ms. Bergman, 2 minutes over to you.
So one of the biggest concerns in Kendall County today is water. I know mobility is an issue, and it's been discussed for many years. But the #1 concern that we have, that I hear the most of, that is brought up in Commissioner's Court repeatedly, is water. We are booming at the seams. Everyone has found us and everyone's coming here, and there's so many straws in the ground. And with the recent drought, water has become the #1 topic of concern, especially here in the Hill Country. So, as Commissioner Chapman stated earlier on Commissioner's Court, we've made good strides to try and make that better. We've increased the acreage from 6 to 10 acres for a well. We put in other rules and regulations and requirements for development. But I want to continue to look at those rules, see what we can do, go to legislation and ask for support so that we can protect one of our most natural resources, which is water, that we all need to continue to thrive.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, we'll move on to question number 2. Ms. Bergman, you'll have the opportunity to answer this question first. Question number 2, what is the most pressing problem in Precinct 1, and how would you address it?
So development, again, for water is, but I'll switch over, and there is quite a bit of development and subdivisions coming in Precinct 1. So there is some roadway issues. One of the biggest ones is the TxDOT improvements to Highway 46. Which has caused an issue with getting towards Bandera. So we're looking at improving Coffin Road. We've got a schematic out for that. Another one is Scenic Loop Road, because if there's issues on I-10, everyone coming to Bernie and the Hill Country on 10, if there's an incident, they use Scenic Loop Road. Upper Galvanis is one of their main traffic routes to avoid I-10. We also have a schematic. Mary Ellen Shuley and the engineers department and I have been working with TxDOT and contractors to get schematics on things. Most recently, Highway 46 East just had a meeting with TxDOT about improvements over there because there are some extremely dangerous conditions and curves on that roadway. So I worked very closely with TxDOT, having meetings with them, asking them for some improvements, which I'm thankful to say at my last meeting, they are going to move forward with some traffic improvements on 46 West and make our roads safer for the individuals that travel those roadways.
Thank you. Ms. McCall.
Again, I think a lot of these topics are unrelated, but in Precinct 1, what I have been hearing is growth. There's a lot of development and a lot of people coming in. And I would like to propose that the Commissioner's Court could have a plan that they offer to people who are building. And that would be from private citizen developing their land to other types of development. And that would be a plan that we hand to those people and give them ideas of what we would like to see in the Hill Country here to keep it unique and special, which is why everybody is coming here. And so that would give, we would give them ideas such as water management, we would have serious skating, we would also have the lot sizes that would be bigger. Again, all types of ideas. And I think one of the biggest parts of that is communication. So we don't just hand the book, we talk through it. We talk about, we let the citizens again have a part at the table when there's a development coming in, whether it's again a home being built or a larger area. That's one of the concerns I hear from Precinct 1 residents is just the amount of growth. And we're not going to stop it, but how we deal with it is important. And so I think we need to bring people to the table. Again, communication is a key. And we'd like to just let people know what we would like to see to keep this area unique and beautiful.
Ms. Bergen, would you like a 1-minute rebuttal on that?
No, sir. Thank you.
We'll move on to question number 3. This question will go back to Ms. McCall first. Question number 3. How would your education and real world experience prepare you for this job?
I think experience, like you say, we're always learning. And I think that applying that to the issues at hand, again, I have a background in a diverse, lots of different areas. And so applying that to the problems, I think, again, so many parts of this are interrelated, but listening to the constituents, I don't think you need a lot of experience to know how to listen to people and what their needs are and represent them. And that's what I'm prepared to do. I'm a person who cares about the needs of people, and I love problem solving. And even as people have brought me questions already from areas, whether it's different types of districts that were proposed to be voted on, to how involved are we? That I fielded those questions, and so I think that my hard work ethic and again problem solving. I don't think you have to have a ton of experience or education to meet the needs of the people, and that's what my goal is. Although education is not required to be a county commissioner, I will say that my business degree from, Southwest Texas, and my management skills working at my family hardware store for almost my entire life has helped me with the managing skills of our Kendall County workings, working closely with our departments, working with the department heads, to improve those departments and the service that we at Kendall County offer to you, the citizens, trying to make sure that Kendall County runs smoothly, that we have all that we need to make sure that you, the citizens, are taken care of. I also attend many conferences, and I get education through those conferences about what counties can and cannot do. I'm proud to say that I do have an advanced curriculum certificate from the Texas Associations of Counties. Because when I go to these conferences, they have certain classes that are not mandatory. You can go if you choose. I have chosen to attend all of those on that curriculum to be able to achieve that certificate. I also hold quite a few emergency management certificates that come in handy, for example, the upcoming eclipse and knowing how to prepare for any disaster that we have. I work closely with our emergency management operations, staffing, and we get plans in place. We have things that we know we need to do, we have in place in the event of any type of emergency within our community. So I have that background as well. And you put all that together, and I think it really just helps overall to be able to make Kendall County serve you, our citizens, in a much better way.
Move on to question number 4. This one, once again, is Ms. Bergman. In addition to what you have already mentioned, how else have you served your community?
Well, I know I mentioned quite a bit earlier. One of the biggest things that I feel is serving the community. It's not sitting on boards. It's not helping to do those things. It's being part of this community, being out and about in the community, attending the community events. Not only is that supporting our community and seeing what is needed in those organizations, but also being out and about to assist citizens as they need things and just networking at certain events. As I mentioned, my previous things on city council, but one of the big things too is the Civil Oak Preserve, which is approximately 650 acres in almost downtown Vernon, right near the fairgrounds, that I've sat on the board from. Mr. Bill Lindy created that. That is for research, and it's a precious piece of land that I'm proud to be a board member on, because I believe that we need to do preservation in our area, and we need to keep things in a certain way for future, because with all the development that we've had coming around us, we're losing that natural land. So I'm very proud to sit on that board. The 100 Club of Kendall County, who supports our first responders, I've been a member of that as well, with my background with the fire department, but also I am a huge supporter of our law enforcement, and those organizations as well serve you, the citizens. So I've been very active and involved in that. I am part of the Bernie Rotary Club, so I've also been a board member there. I'm currently a board member for the New Rotary Club. We go out and do service projects in the community. One of the biggest things that I've helped with, and I actually headed up this past year, is Arbor Day. And we go out with organizations, partnerships, and collaborations with organizations in the city of Vernon to go plant trees around our community. And I believe this year we planted about 7 trees. And so I'm out there with those organizations too, to try to make this place a better place for all of you.
Ms. McCall.
My background has been mostly at home with my children, raising my children. And I have been part of all of the things that they have done growing up, as far as part of the board of their cross-country teams, to supporting the other things that they've done. And so in the community, I've been raising children who have gone on to be successful in jobs. We still have one at home. He's 19, but again, I think that seeing the need, as I saw something that happened here in the Commissioner's Court back in 2018, and I saw the desperation of our citizens, I decided to step forward. And so I'm running as your I'm running to be the commissioner from what I saw. And so I want to serve the community in that way. And I think in listening to what the concerns are and being willing to step forward, and as somebody else had mentioned, it's a privilege and it's an undertaking. And so I want to serve the community in that way. And so again, thank you for being here. And
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, at this point, we'll move on to question number 5. And this one also is Mr. McCall. In what way is Kendall County going in the wrong direction? And how do you propose redirecting it?
I think, I believe that the development, the growth that we've had, and the water are all issues. With the county, there are things that we need to address. I don't know that they're necessarily going the wrong way, but I do think that we need to bring the citizens in and have them have a voice at the table in each of these issues, as far as, again, mobility and the growth and water. I think that one of the things that we do need to do is to look at our development rules that we have. We may not have really used them all to their potential. And then I think that we need to strengthen our relationship with our representatives, the House and Senate representatives for the state of Texas, to see if there are other rules that we could use to strengthen, again, the development rules that we have. So I wouldn't point at one thing, but again, I think that there are a lot of things that we could address in a stronger way. And so, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gordon.
Thank you. So I wouldn't say that there's anything we're going necessarily in the wrong way, but I think there's some things that we can improve on. And one of them is the growth. And we will continue to grow. We're not going to stop the growth. It's going to happen. It's how we let that happen and how we manage that growth that's going to matter. So we have at the county level made some changes to our rules and regulations. As I mentioned earlier, we have made some changes to our requirements for acreage. But we can fine tune some of the things. And as legislation changes, we need to revisit our rules and regs. We need to fine tune, and we do need to collaborate with all the other organizations and our state legislation to ask for assistance to help us to help curb some of this growth and help us as local residents to preserve what we have and continue to keep our town unique.
Okay, we have one more question here, question number 6. Back to Ms. Bergman. What can be done to enhance Kendall County's role in managing growth?
I think we've talked about that quite a bit on quite of these questions, and they do all intertwine together, as I just stated. It's trying to find ways to manage it. It's trying to sit down with developers. I've on many occasions sat down with developers. For those that don't know, if they're getting out of county water or public water supply, There's very little that we as commissioners of court can do and require of them within their needs and bounds. It would be nice if we had a little more control to say what they can and can't do, but that's a difficult thing. So trying to work with those developers as they come up, I can't require them, no commissioner can require them to do certain things, but it's a matter of sitting down at the table and talking with them and asking them, would you consider this? For example, there's some developments that have come in and I've just said, oh, would you set aside property for a fire station? Because in this area we need one. And they're like, oh, we haven't thought of that. So in some of the subdivisions that I've dealt with, there's property set aside for a future fire station. In one, there is a new school going in talking with them, working with the school district. They were needing a school in the area. So we sit down and talk to them, and they're willing to work with the Birmingham School District to set aside property to build a school. So although our hands are tied in a sense in something, just a matter of sitting down and visiting with the individuals and the developers and explaining to them where they are, who they are affecting, and what they can do to still develop, but make it a better place for all of us and all work together, because essentially once they leave, all those people that live there are still our citizens and we're going to have to serve them as well. And it's better to work together and collaborate as much as we can for the betterment of our citizens.
I think I've already addressed growth, and so I wanted to mention something that applies to growth, and that is back to the reason why I decided to run. Back in 2018, I saw Commissioners Board making a decision that would have affected hundreds of people's homes and land. The citizens demanded to be heard. They wanted to be part of that process. I watched frantic citizens who looked at the possibility of losing their private property. And because of what I saw, I decided to make their voices heard. I want to be transparent about decisions, and that particular plan would have been an explosion of growth, development, and harm to our natural resources. That's why, again, I think it applies to growth. And I want to be transparent about decisions that are made in Kendall County School Board to include the citizens in the process so they have a say about growth and development and our natural resources. And again, I want to make the citizens a part of the Commissioners Board, and I want to be your voice there. Again, I want to address growth with you. I want to be communicating with you. And again, these plans, the citizens need to be a part of it. I think that the meeting that was had over the battery issue is a perfect example. We want the citizens to be a part of it so that we can, so that the Commissioners Board can represent the wishes of the people.
Okay, that wraps up my questions. I would like to go ahead and transition at this point to some closing remarks for the candidates. So in reverse order, I'd like Ms. Bergman to provide 2 minutes of closing remarks, please.
Thank you, sir. Again, thank you all for being here this evening. I have thoroughly enjoyed serving my community. It is my hometown. It's where I'm raising my children. It's where I intend to stay. My entire family is here. We've watched it change. I grew up riding my bike downtown Main Street with one flashing light to what it is today. So I have firsthand seen the changes and the effects that it's made. I would love to continue to serve you as your county commissioner, to continue to try and preserve as much as we can of our beautiful hill country and our beautiful Kendall County. I ask for your support and your votes. I have stuff at the table outside with my website on it. If you're in the courthouse, if I'm in my office, my door is always open. I'm there pretty much every day. If I'm not in my office, I may be walking around. I encourage you to get involved, get out, stop by if you have specific questions for me, reach out to me. Not only just me, but all your county commissioners, all of your elected officials. Get involved. It's you, the citizens, that we're serving, and we can't serve you if you don't reach out to us and let us know what's going on. So I ask for your support and vote in that upcoming March primary.
First, I want to thank you all again for coming out to learn more about the people who are running, who you will be voting for. I appreciate all of the Republican clubs for putting on this forum and for everyone that's involved. We've talked about a lot of things tonight. We've covered a lot of issues, but I am passionate about Kendall County. Running for office and meeting people, hearing their stories, finding out where you came from, meeting some of your families at your door. There are people who will tell you things on their doorstep that they wouldn't tell you in a forum. I'm more than ever very passionate about serving you because I want to leave this place better than when I found it. I feel that you deserve to have your voice heard. You deserve transparency. You should know what's going on in Commissioner's Court. You deserve to have someone who represents you and cares about your needs. I will be that person. I would appreciate your vote. I would appreciate your vote so that I can get to work. The election starts early voting starts a week from tonight. And I also have a table out in the foyer. I'll be glad to answer any questions. But again, I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 7:35. At this point, I would like to take a 10-minute intermission to go to the restroom to reset the stage. Once again, please give these folks a round of applause. If you will, we'll come back at 7:45 and we'll get started in the next forum. Thank you.
Okay, last on the agenda for tonight is State Representative for District 19, Kyle Biederman and Ellen Troxclair. Before you come up, I just want to say I'm very proud to have both of you here. I think, maybe you're incorrect, that we're the first county, forum, whatever you want to call it, to have you both in the same room. No? You're close, right? Anyways, it's good for us. I'm proud anyways. Thank you very much for coming, Ellen and Kyle. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. So ground rules are still the same. Just to reiterate very briefly to the candidates, once again, please reserve your comments to the topic at hand. No mudslinging, no name calling, no pinching, none of that kind of stuff. For the audience, please maintain your decorum. Let the candidates answer the questions. For folks that might be in the back that can't hear completely with the microphones, we're going to do our best that we can up here. So be patient with us. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with this next round. Okay, so first of all, I would like to take the opportunity to provide these candidates for some opening remarks. First, Mr. Kyle Biederman, could you please provide some opening remarks? 2 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. And, I just remember being here, I don't know how many years ago, for another debate, and it was fantastic. What a great place to have it. And again, being from Fredericksburg, living in the Hill Country, actually living in District 19 for almost 40 years, I've seen so many things happen in Bernie and Kendall County. And those are the things that really helped me when I became a state representative 8 years ago, and I served 6 years as your state representative, and actually in District 73 at the time. I owned Beaterman's Hardware in Fredericksburg for 39 years. I'm married to my wife, Barbie. We have 7 daughters and 15 grandkids. We're not very busy at all. So it's a good time to run for office again. I didn't run last time because I felt it was time to go home, and I'm not a career politician. I'm a business owner. When I went home, I opened another hardware store in Hartford. They needed a hardware store. I didn't even look. God opened the door. I bought a feed store and a hardware store, and I was doing great. And really happy to be home. enjoying Fredericksburg. But again, I know what the concerns are for this district. And those concerns are so important to me that I want to make sure that we have the representation in Austin that could put Kendall County, Gillespie County, Blanco, Burnett County first, and the people first. Not the people in Austin, not the establishment, not the lobby in Austin, but you first. And so I decided to run for office again. And I'm just excited. I mean, meeting the people again and having such a great response, especially in the new areas. But this is such an important time for me. It's an important time for you all. It's important for you to get to know both of us and make a choice of who you want to represent you in Austin. When I was there, I didn't work in my hardware store for 6 years. I was a full-time representative in a part-time legislature. But that's how I roll. I work hard, and I put my priorities first. And the legislature was my first priority, and I'm just so grateful to God the rest of my business. Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mrs. Fox-Claire.
Hi, I'm Fox Claire. It is such an honor to be your state representative. First of all, I'm a mom of 3 wonderful kids. I'm a wife to Caleb, who is here tonight. I am a small business owner, and most importantly, I am a conservative fighter who wakes up every day determined to do everything that I can to keep arts, this thing that we all love, safe, strong, and free. We just came up on 1 year of being in office, and in that year, I have followed through on every single one of my campaign promises. Last time we had this debate 2 years ago, I told you I was running because I wanted to make the biggest investment in border security in history. And this last session, we put $6.6 billion to boots on the ground, to buoys, to the border wall, and to busing illegal immigrants into Chicago and New York so that the Democrats up there could see what this border crisis is really doing to our country. I told you I wanted to protect kids, and as I stand here today, we have banned gender modification surgery on kids under 18, as well as inappropriate performances like drag shows. I told you that I wanted to save women's sports, and as I stand here today, we have banned biological men from competing against women in women's sports, making it a fair playing field. We passed the largest property tax cut in United States history, $18 billion. I hope you guys saw the results of that on your tax bill this time. We banned COVID vaccine mandates once and for all. We made election fraud a felony, and those are just a few of the highlights. So if I can do that in 1 year, imagine what I can do if I can earn your re-election and go back to the Capitol fighting for you. Thank you so much.
We'll go and transition to the questions part of this program. So question number 1, and this will be for Mr. Buterman. You'll have 2 minutes to respond. What were your top accomplishments while serving in the Texas House?
Well, when I went to the Texas House, I was an experienced politician, and that was good. That's what you all wanted. That's why you voted for me, and that's what I want. So when I got there, I didn't have all these preconceived notions about what you're supposed to do. I went there, and I did what you all wanted me to do. I listened to you as I knocked doors. I listened to you as I talked to you on the street. And your number 1 issue was 8 years ago, water. Water. We're going to double the population of the state of Texas, not too much in the future, and yet we're having trouble with water already. And so I put water as my number 1 priority when I went to the legislature. Of course, I voted for all of the Republican bills, Republican Party platform, priorities, but it's not my vote. It's 85 of us. There's no I in the name team. It's a team effort to pass bills. But for me, my priorities were water and then the Alamo. And the reason my Alamo was my number 1 priority after water was because George P. Bush The chairman of the general land office had signed off to have the cenotaph torn down and moved off the battlefield, and wanted to make the messaging of the animal woke, meaning our defenders were white supremacists and that the Texas independence was fought for slavery. Those were lies. And I was the only legislator that stood up. 5 years we worked on that. I passed a number of bills with the Alamo bills, and after 5 years we won. And we saved the animal. And those are things I'm very proud of. It's solid. Oh, where? Well, where's the other side? Okay. So those are some of the things I'm very proud of, but there's so many other things, but we'll get to those later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So, I just ran down the list of things that I followed through on for you. And so I could talk about absolutely, I am going to put the pedal to the metal on doing everything we can to save this next generation from the woke agenda that is happening in our world, and protect our kids. I could tell you that I'm going to take the pedal to the metal border that we are going to do. I hope we get a question. I'm assuming that we'll get a question about water. I hope we will, so that I can dig deep into what we did this last session for water as well. But overall, the overarching theme of all of those topics is that words are cheap and actions matter. And the most important thing to me is that I am a woman of my word, and that you know exactly what I stand for, that I am the same person in office that I am on the campaign trail, that I follow through on my campaign promises, and that I can actually get things done. It's one thing to be principled. We can be principled all day long, but if you go up to the Capitol and you can't get anything done, what good is that to your constituents? And so for me, when I woke up and was mad about my property taxes when I lived in that crazy leftist city of Austin, and I ran for city council and I won, and I was the only conservative on that council. I fought tooth and nail. I ran because I wanted to pass the first homestead exemption in Travis County. And even though I was in the minority, I didn't. And when I told you that I wanted to do all the things that I just talked about, I went up there and I did it. And so isn't that just what we want, what we need more of in this world? I am so tired of politicians who talk a big game and then you elect them and they get up there and nothing really changes. Sometimes it just feels like we're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. That's not what I'm about. If we are going to be in this, we better be in this 110%. And thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Biederman, would you like a 1 minute rebuttal? Okay, thank you. We will then move on to question number 2. And question number 2 will go to Ms. Truxclair first. What is your opinion of Governor Abbott's approach to the border crisis? What will you change or add?
Well, I was at the border just on Thursday with Governor Abbott. I'm proud to be the only candidate in this race that he was endorsing because we were standing shoulder to shoulder, standing up to the federal government and making sure our border is secure while Biden does everything that he can to undermine us. So, like I told you earlier, we put $6.6 billion to secure our border. We shouldn't have to do that, right? Because our federal government should be doing that. But in their absence, Texans are standing up to the plate. So let me tell you, I'm a member of the Homeland Security Committee, which means that I get to support all of our border activities, appropriate that money, and make sure that the boots on the ground have all the tools and the resources that they need. So we have this area of Eagle Pass that used to be overrun by illegal immigrants. Just a few weeks ago, Governor Abbott said no more. He closed the federal government off from Shelby Park, an area where thousands of people were coming through on a daily basis. Those Border Patrol agents were cutting the razor wire and saying, come right on in. Now it is completely secure. There is a fence that you have to go through to get in. It is state controlled. We have not just doubled the amount of razor wire, we have tripled the amount of razor wire. And the number of people that are crossing now in Eagle Pass has gone from thousands to
3. And guess what? Those 3 people were arrested, detained, and deported. So we are doing all our small part. We are having help come in from 14 other states and counties and counting as other states are waking up and realizing that the border is impacting their safety and livelihood as well. Biden is suing us over the orange buoys that are a fraction of the cost of the wall, keep people in Mexico, and can be deployed much more quickly. And I will say this to you, the number one thing that we can do to secure the border is to elect a new president this November.
My opinion of Governor Abbott. I'm grateful that he stood up finally. I shouldn't say stand up, sorry, but I'm glad that he finally did something strong at the border. We've been asking him for 4 years to do something strong at the border. And we just keep getting blamed from the federal government. I'm glad that he did this. I'm glad that he started busing migrants to the liberal cities up north, because it made it where the liberal paper and the liberal press could finally talk about it. And it's been a great thing. But what took so long? We've secured Shelby Park, 3 miles maybe. We've got 1,000 miles on the border. We're nowhere close. And those that were coming through Shelby Park, now they're coming through somewhere else. We didn't stop anything yet. But what we did do is finally stand up to the federal government, which is what I said we should do 4 years ago. 10th Amendment, states' rights, claim the invasion, and let's get that border secure. Not wait 4 more years. We need to be strong in Texas. We can't just wait around and pass a bill and spend $6 billion and we still haven't secured the border. We need bold action at the border. We've got other states that will support us. We have got to be bold. We can't just do little things at the border. And it's not going to happen until we truly take it seriously. So if we've got Shelby Park and whatever else we've done on the border, 5 zones at 130, that's cost us $10 billion so far. The other 125 zones are not secured. We don't have the money for that. We have got to have a different plan. And that plan needs to be claim the invasion, shut down the border, and let's get this done. And we need to have courage and leadership to do that. And I think we can do it. Your help, and I know you all are going to support that. Thank you.
Okay, question number 3, we'll move on. Back to Mr. Biederman. You're up first on this one. Are funding of school choice and funding public education mutually exclusive? Please explain your position.
Well, I'm glad we had this question, because I get it all the time. This would happen. Somebody will call me up, and again, my cell phone number is on every piece of literature. So they call me directly. I answer my phone because I'm a customer service person. That's what I do for a living. And I'll answer my phone, and they'll just say, are you for school vouchers? Yes or no? And I say, well, hold on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for a minute. Because they are not mutually exclusive. We have to do both. We need to give parents a choice in the education of their children, especially low income or in a family school. But we also need to reform and fix the public education system. We can't bankrupt it with full vouchers, but that would be a last resort. So I always respond, when I was a freshman, I put out legislation, and we're not seeing you guys now. I worked with you guys for 6 years. We put together bills, and I brought them to the legislature, and I put them forth, and I got some committee hearings. But again, they don't want to change up there. The committees don't want to change. Public entities don't want to change. I put a bill out to make unfunded mandates optional. That would be great. Keep more money locally. I put bills out to give every teacher in the state of Texas a survey that would not would be anonymous, and then the legislature can know what teachers think, those that are on the front lines. And again, with no retribution. I couldn't get that passed either. Then I put a bill out for Robin We're not going to get rid of Robin. 25% of the schools pay it, 75% receive it. We're not going to pass that. 75% of the legislators are getting the money. What we can do is make it more fair. And my bill was any Robin school doesn't get less than the median average per student across the state of Texas. And you know darn well, Bernie Ashby's getting a lot less than the average. Those are the things I put out as a freshman. That's what we need to do. We need to work together on these things.
Thank you.
Ms. Vice President.
Doesn't everybody in this room believe that every single child deserves access to an excellent education? And yet, that is not the case for too many of our students, especially low-income students who are trapped in failing school districts, mainly in our urban areas of Texas. But guess what? Your tax dollars are still paying for it, right? Because we collect property taxes, and a lot of times that money is taken, redistributed through Robinhood to other school districts. So we have, they're absolutely not mutually exclusive. First of all, I'm a product of public education. I am so grateful for the amazing teachers and mentors that I had growing up, because honestly, my parents could afford to live in a district that provided me that excellent public education. Those of us here in Berkeley, same thing. We have an amazing, you guys are so lucky that you have a school district like you have at Berkeley ISD, who really puts kids first, who doesn't tolerate any of that local nonsense. But for too long, there has been at this camp and at that camp, and to choose a team. And I believe one of the responsibilities that I have is to try to bridge that gap and bridge that divide. I am very proud to have given first retired teachers a much needed cost of living increase this last session. Hallelujah. I know that was, that they were grateful to get that because they've done the hardest service of all of us. I also voted for a $4,000 pay raise for current teachers, as well as a massive increase in public education funding, along with a small program that would allow specifically low-income children in failing school and disabled children to have access to an education savings account where parents have the ability to seek the best education for our child. 30 other states have passed some sort of school choice program with excellent results. And I hope that this next session, we can do that in Texas as well.
Thank you. Okay, at this time we'll move on to question number 4. Ms. Foxclair, over to you first. What are your ideas for further reducing commercial and residential property taxes?
Well, this is my soapbox issue that got me into politics in the first place. It's still honestly surreal that I'm on a stage with microphones speaking in front of you guys, because I was just a person who was upset about my property taxes and didn't know how I was going to pay them, and decided to run for office to do something about it. So after I passed the city's first homestead exemption over there in Travis County, I went on to be an advocate and testify at the legislature, specifically for the passage of bills like Senate Bill 2, which allowed, which would reduce the amount that local governments can increase your property taxes from 8% to 3.5%, because we can't afford an 8% tax increase year after year after year. And so what an honor it was, truly, to be a part of the legislature this cycle to vote for the largest property tax cut in United States history. That is mind-blowing to me. Many states don't even have a budget, a total budget of $18 billion. And yet, when we had a budget surplus here in Texas, we turned around and gave that $18 billion right back to you. You should have saved around $2,400 for every $600,000 valuation, but that is just the start. We shifted about 40% of our school funding from local property taxes to the state surplus. So our state's economy, sales taxes, oil and gas taxes, and small and business taxes are what is funding our ability to now fully fund our schools using that money instead of local property tax revenue. So we decreased Robinhood by about 40%. Like I said, that is just the beginning. My ultimate goal is to make sure that we, once and for all, fully eliminate the school portion of the property taxes. It is no longer an appropriate way to fund our schools.
And so I will continue to be on my soapbox about this. I will continue to push the envelope. And by the way, that property tax cut, that is into perpetuity. So it's just the beginning. Thank you.
Mr. Mueller.
Okay. So, we have a huge surplus. Much more than 18 billion. Much, much more. Because you all voted, and maybe not all of you voted for it, but we voted for $25 billion in pork in those amendments in November. That was your money. That money could have gone to property tax. That could have gone to schools. That could have gone to teachers' pay. Could have gone to a lot of things. But no, it went to pork bills for all these special interest groups. But this is how you get rid of property taxes. Control spending. Two words that are unheard of in the federal government as well as the state government. If we would control our spending and make it mandatory that our surpluses above population growth and inflation growth, if the surpluses go to pay down property taxes, we could pay down property taxes, especially the M&Os for your public schools funding. We can get rid of that in 8 to 10 years. We have the formulas for that, and we've been fighting for that for the last 4 years. My last 2 sessions, that was our bill. But we couldn't get it moving because they want to spend money. They want to spend money. We need to make surpluses mandatory to go to property taxes so the state will become a budget item for the state to pay for education instead of making homeowners and business and property owners to pay for education. It's just not right. But that's how you fix it. That's how you change it. But it takes courage. It takes leadership. It takes a business type person who understands expenses, who understands what it costs. Those are the things that I did when I was in the legislature. That's the things I'll do again. I'm not afraid to go against leadership. I'm not afraid to go against the governor. I'm afraid to go against the lieutenant governor. Certainly not afraid to go against the speaker. I'm going to get the speaker every single day. But we have to stand up for the people. We've got to stand up for your money. Actually, we're overtaxing you if we have all these surpluses. That's how you get rid of property taxes.
All right, we'll move on to question number 5. Mr. Biederman, you get this one first. The Kendall County Commissioners Court does not have adequate tools to manage dense development. What would you do as state representative to help?
Well, that's an easy question. That's what I did for 6 years. Commissioner Chapman knows. Elkins knows. Our old man knows. That's what I did. How do I get more tools in the toolbox for our local commissioners and our local officials? My last bill, HB 3883, that's what it did. And I had all support of Kendall County. Unfortunately, I didn't have that much support in some of the other counties. Those commissioners just didn't really want to take a stand. They wanted to complain about no tools, but they didn't want to do anything about it. So I told them, all right, let's do something about it. I'm not afraid. Let's do something about it. Kendall County stepped up, and look what you guys have done. You guys have made some changes in density and lot sizes that many other counties haven't done. My bill also made sure that we had availability of water before we had development growth. That was my bill. But you know why I couldn't pass that bill? Because Texas Association of Builders and the big developers, they pay off the legislators on the committees. That's how come it doesn't get passed. The bill got passed in session. It's okay, but the commissioners all know that it's got some loopholes in it that are not matched on. We truly need to work with the local officials to give you more tools because, as we heard this morning earlier, this evening, water is the #1 issue. Density and growth is also. But I didn't wait for some bill in the legislature. I put the bills out. And a lot of my bills have become part of legislation that happened last session. But we need more of that. I don't wait. I'm a doer. It's not hard, guys. You know, if it's running water, if you were in my shoes or you were up in the legislature, you do something about it. You wouldn't wait. I'm not going to wait because I care. And that's why I'm running down. Thank you.
Okay, so I am, my job as your state representative is, especially a district that covers 5 counties, is to get my marching orders from your local commissioners court about what the tools and resources they need in their toolbox to effectively manage your county. And that is exactly what I have done. That is exactly what I will continue to do. So let's talk about some successes, some things that actually did pass. In fact, the Groundwater Association said that this could be, for the first time in years, thought of as a water session because we've got such big things passed, including Senate Bill 2440, which now requires developers to do groundwater studies before their plats are approved. That is one tool in the toolbox. I fully support the county's decision to increase the minimum lot size to 10 acres for a new well in order to adequately manage the water, adequately manage new growth. Commissioner Chapman, thank you so much for your work in making sure that there is community input in a plan to go forward. I cannot wait to continue working and making sure that gets passed for Kendall County. I was also a main co-author on bills that would provide incentives for people to do rainwater collection and zero skimming, because this is not an issue that we can just have, one-offs. So let me just remind you, my kids are 9th generation Texan. We only have one Texas. We only have one whole country. If we do not protect the natural beauty and the resources that we have here, it will be gone forever. I do not care if I'm in elected office or not. This is a passion of mine because I care about the Texas that I leave to my children. I am going to do absolutely everything in my power to make sure that we have the ability to effectively manage growth, not just in Kendall County, but all across the Texas Hill Country. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to question number 6, Mr. Crossclear. Question is, what is your position on the impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton?
So, thank you for the question. This was truly the most difficult vote that I have taken, and I took 2,200 votes this session. I prayed about it. I went back and forth about it, and ultimately, I woke up that morning rereading my oath of office and the Constitution, and ultimately decided that when in doubt, it was my responsibility to err on the side of transparency. My vote was a vote to forward the articles to the Senate to take up if they so chose. And I want to be very clear that the Senate took the exact same vote. 6 weeks later, with the same information that I had, they took a series of votes at the beginning of the trial and made a decision of whether or not they wanted to move forward or completely throw out everything. They made the decision as well that transparency was best, and they voted to move forward. I'm so grateful for the work that the Attorney General has done. We have a big battle to fight as Texans. We are always the tip of the spear fighting against the overreach of the federal government. And I have never once wavered in my support for every single lawsuit that office has brought, whether it was this Attorney General or Attorney Generals previous to him. And if you want to judge me based on that one vote, that is okay. I understand. But ultimately, the person whose judgment I care most about is God. And that is what I was compelled to do. And so I urge you to look at my record, to look at all of the things that I have followed through on. And either way, if I lose your vote over that one specific vote, I want you to know that I will continue to fight for our shared values no matter what. Thank you.
Okay. We have an Attorney General that had accusations for 6 or 8 years. You all, Republicans, voted for him 6 months earlier. Why would the Texas House decide that they need to impeach someone who just got elected? Talk about election interference. And then you come and say, oh, he's done a great job, but we got to impeach him. That doesn't make sense either. And then to say that, oh, our job was not to find, proof or evidence or witnesses or due process or even have somebody under oath. You never see that. In the Texas House of Representatives to vote within 48 hours for something with no evidence, no due process, no witnesses. That was a shame. And it cost you all over $5 million. And everybody was worried about, $3.5 million that he was getting sued for by the whistleblowers, who again, they never won both. It was hearsay. It was all proven in the Senate. It cost you $5 million for that sham impeachment. Plus, you want to know about unity in the Republican Party? Everyone's worried about unity in the Republican Party. How do you have unity when Republicans impeach another Republican who just got elected with all the Democrats? That was a loyalty vote to the Speaker and to the establishment. And just look where the money came in afterwards. Look who paid for that impeachment. And look at the money on these campaign finance reports for these legislators that voted to impeach. That was a shame. And it tore our party apart. We need to get our party back together. And at the Republican convention, we need to really show unity after a convention and never do an impeachment like this ever again.
We have time for one more question, I believe. So we're going to transition to another question. Mr. Biederman, you're first out of the chute this time. This one is, how do you propose we preserve the unique culture of the Texas Hill Country given our rapid growth?
Well, I said, I've lived here for 40 years, almost 40 years, 39 years. I've been coming to Birmingham for all that time. Even at the time, passing through, going to San Antonio, and Birmingham was very small. In fact, they wanted to come by and eat on the way home sometimes. They didn't want to be in traffic in San Antonio because it wasn't much eating. But Birmingham has grown tremendously. Birmingham's grown, so is Fredericksburg, but in a different way. We're far enough away, plus we're too expensive on them to work with. That's not the question.
Like that?
Sorry about that. With the unique what? I'm sorry, guys. I can't remember the whole question. Anyway. So how do we preserve the unique culture of the Texas Hill Country? Well, we have a German culture in Fredericksburg and in Birmingham. We have festivals celebrating our culture. These are things that we need to keep, and I'm glad we are. But we're not going to keep it if we let the developers in Austin be able to come through here and just overdevelop and tear everything down just for money and profit on their part. And we need water. We need our rivers to flow. We're not going to have culture if we can't have water to live on. There are so many things, but it takes leadership. It takes someone that knows this area, that's lived here, and is in their soul. That's what we need. Not somebody from Austin. We need somebody that lives here. And that is proven in my 6 years when I was in the legislature, I put this county and this district first, not Austin. And that's how we preserve our culture. Thank you.
Ms. Square, 2 minutes, please.
Yep. So there's 2 different parts of this question, right? We need culture and growth. To me, culture, first of all, is making sure that we are passing the values of conservative Texas down to our children. The spirit of grit and grace, the respect for hard work, honesty, integrity, Christian morals and values. Those things, I think, if we do that, the rest will follow. But on the specific question of growth, I filed a bill this session to protect the area around Camp Bullis, as I committed to previously.
Towards the end of the legislative session, there was concerns from commissioners and from the community that there were some problems with that bill. And ultimately, together, we decided that we would regroup, come up with something that we had a better chance of passing, and go full force this next legislative session. I am honored to be endorsed by Kendall County leaders like former County Commissioner Richard Elkins, who has worked tirelessly on this issue. And by the way, has worked with both of us on this specific issue. I am so grateful to Commissioner Chapman for putting together the water plan that he has put together. I am so grateful to Judge Lux, former County Judge Lux, who has also endorsed me because he knows that I have what it takes to actually follow through on what we're talking about here on this stage. Ultimately, we need to do a better job of making sure that individual landowners understand what they are giving up when they are selling to developers in unincorporated areas of this county. There is a very difficult needle to thread here between private property rights and the ability of that seller to make the highest dollar and the buyers who are willing to give it. And we need to do a better job to step up as a community and support those sellers in making sure that they're willing to sell to people who are going to preserve the land for future generations. Thank you.
So that concludes the questions. I'd like to open it up now for some closing remarks. We'll go in reverse order. Ms. Huxclair, would you provide 2 minutes of closing remarks?
Sure. You know, I signed up for a part-time legislature, and it was interesting to have a part-time legislature and then 4 other special sessions last session. But you know what? I'm still up to the job. I love going to work every day on behalf of y'all. This is a basically unpaid position, right? And so I'm doing it because I care about the future of our country and the future of our state. And I just want to say the proof is really in the pudding. You see the nasty stuff that has gone on in this campaign, the ridiculous lies that have been spread. I just want to encourage you to focus on the facts and focus on results. I am the only person in this race, despite what you may have heard or seen, only person that is endorsed by Governor Greg Abbott. The only person who is endorsed by the NRA because I stand up, and the Texas State Rifle Association because I stand up for our Second Amendment rights and our constitutional rights. I'm the only person endorsed by Texas Values Action because I am the fighter for faith, family, and freedom. The only person endorsed by Texas Alliance for Life and Life Hack, Protections for Medical Freedom, Americans for Prosperity, the Farm Bureau Act Fund, Texas Homeschool Coalition, first responders, and more, including our Congressman Chip Roy, former Commissioner Richard Elkins, Rich Sana on our Bernie School Board, former Judge Lux, and Tony Andishiels, who has been such a leader for Republican priorities for years. And so this is what it takes to be a leader and to be actually effective and follow through on your campaign promises. Building coalitions, being honest and transparent about what you're fighting for, what you're running on, and what you're going to deliver. Ultimately, this is an honor of a lifetime. If you have me back, I will be here as long as God wants me and as long as y'all want me. And when my work is done, I will be so thrilled to go back to my family and my business and continue the work that I'm so passionate about that we've started together. Thank you.
So I read an article this afternoon from the Washington Post, and what it said was, as the suburbs are expanding from the large cities, they're becoming more Democratic because of the growth and overbuilding and everything else that's happened. That happens in, whether it's Denver, whether of course DC, whether it's Florida, it doesn't matter. As it grows out, overdevelopment causes more liberals and Democrats. We don't need that here in Berkeley. But we know that that's happening unless we do something about it, and that takes courage and it takes leadership. And it can't be done if you're sold out to the developers and the Texas Association of Builders and the establishment in Austin who only wants profits. They don't care about the whole country. They want profits. I know I was there 6 years. They killed all my legislation because of profits. We need leadership up there, and we need to stand strong for you all. The Texas House is broken. The Democrats control it. The speaker is elected by Democrats and a few Republicans, and the rest of the Republicans join in because they're weak. We're a majority. Why can't Republicans control who our speaker is? It's been this way for 23 years. We've got to make a change. Trust is at an all-time low in the Texas House. We need a clean house. We need to get rid of the people in there that are allowing this to happen by supporting a speaker that just got censured by the Republican Party of Texas. Who gets money from them? Who has fundraisers with them? All those things. That's not what we need as a representative. We need someone from the people, other people that lives here. And it's proven that he never will sell out to anybody in Austin. And I'll take the arrows, I'll take the retribution, I don't care, because I'm taking it from you. I'll never sell you out. But we got some things to work on. I've been working on it for 6 years, and I'll keep doing it. God bless you all. God bless Texas.
Thank you, sir. That concludes our questions and closing remarks. Once again, let's give these candidates a round of applause. As they step down, I'd like to reintroduce Mr. Mike Wheeler, our party chair, for some closing remarks, please.
Just be patient with me just for 5 more minutes, please. I became county chair early last fall after my dear friend and county chair Buck Rogers suddenly passed away. I just wanted to take this quick moment to recognize Buck. Thank you. I'm also running for an office, county chair. You can find me in that last thing on the ballot. I'd appreciate your vote as well. You can find me. I'm looking for just a couple announcements. What I'm looking for. I'm looking for you all to get involved. I'm looking for precinct chairs at 10:30 and 10:50. That's down by the Bolero and what's that road down there? Cascade Caverns Road. So please, if you live down there or you want to know where it is, if you know anybody, please send them our way. We also have our precinct and county convention coming up on March 23rd. That's where you can become a delegate. It's very important. You can go to our state convention, which is right down the street in San Antonio. And again, please vote the whole ballot. There are some propositions, I think there are 13 of them down at the end. Those are for opinions. You're not passing anything, but it's going to be your opinion there. Please finish that up all the way to the end. And finally, I just really want to thank Ernie. He did a fabulous job. Thank you. I really want to thank the candidates. That is such a tough thing to do. They just did, and I really appreciate you coming and putting yourself out there. And thank you, audience. It's been a long night, but I hope that you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you all. Be safe.